Hi everybody, this is a blue and black Reanimator control deck that uses Breach of the Multiverse on the top end to mill a bunch of cards and then put something from the graveyard back into play for us. Now, for us, we've got some good targets in Atraxa Grand Unifier that we've seen by now, and Kairi the Swirling Sky to get back aforementioned Breach the Multiverse, and some of our other utility spells along the way. So we went kind of a different direction with this deck in that I wanted to find some acceleration in black, and Life of Toshiro Umezawa is where we ended up. So in the early game, if the opponent's playing some small creatures, we can get a little control effect out of that by giving them -1/-1. And then by, turn 4 or 5, we've got a mana creature on the flip side of it. So that could potentially help power out an early Breach the Multiverse if everything's going well for us. I will say it didn't always work out, but it was kind of an interesting experiment to try nonetheless. Now, we've got blue in here to help out with a little bit of utility. Blue is going to help us draw cards with Tainted Indulgence, look for things with Impulse, Aether Channeler to bring back later in the game or control the board on turn 3 a little bit. We're running Path of Peril to also take care of a lot of these early game threats. We can get run over pretty easily by aggro decks, and so this is a hedge against those. Works kind of nice. We've got enough multicolored stuff in here that we could also potentially cast the Cleave version with a little bit of white mana. And then to offer us some interesting reanimation targets in the 4 drops, we've got Ertai Resurrected, a nice utility way to remove and counter some things. Phyrexian Obliterator, which is always a headache for pretty much any opponent. Henrika Domnathi is still a pretty flexible creature, and the nice lifelink on the back end can help us stay in some games against some mono-red heavy decks. And then we're also trying out one copy of Invasion of Vryn. The idea here was that we do a little draw and discard and have something in the grave to reanimate, and then we could potentially copy one of our Invoke Despairs or one of our Breaches later on in the game. This initially started off at 2 copies, but it was just okay. We can probably build a better deck that's a little more focused around this and copying some earlier spells so that we actually get to copy some things. So we might try that one out later. And as for the rest of the deck, we've got some Sheoldred in here. Only 1 copy because we've got some Cruelty of Gix that can go look for her. And Sheoldred is the business. I really like this card. It's kind of grown on me. Saw a lot of the Phyrexians in the early spoilers, and I wasn't sure how often they would get to flip, but I've flipped a few of them now. It's actually possible. The effect on the backside is really fun, very flavorful, and I've hit Chapter 3 a few times on Sheoldred, and it's always good times. Love that card. Invoke Despair is here, of course, because it's the best in the business at drawing cards and taking care of enchantments, something that these colors don't always get to do. And then, of course, we've got some dual lands and tri-lands over here on the back end, including Raffine's Tower to help us cast Path of Peril, and maybe Atraxa in a pinch if we can get down Raffine's Tower and a Celestus. We should have all the colors we need to actually hard cast her in a pinch. So let's get over and see a few games with this deck on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for some commentary, of course, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, we've got our old buddy Aether Channeler here and some pricey things. We're going to make that work. Ertai's here to shore up my turn 4. We're going to do Raffine's Tower. All right, was worried opponent was on mono red for a moment. Ooh, Invasion of Tarkir. Not too shabby. Was thinking about throwing that in a dragon-based Vesuvan Duplimancy list and see how it worked out. Opponent with a Phyrexian Dragon Engine for us. Well, let's get down land number 3. I think I want to Aether Channeler here. And we're just going to bounce that back to the opponent's hand, buy us a little bit more time, keep them from threatening to attack into this invasion. Oh, we're playing Jaya too? Jaya, one of my favorite planeswalkers, just a solid workhorse of a card from recent sets. All right, let's go Shipwreck Marsh. We could keep up Ertai or just destroy Jaya outright. Let's just pass. Ertai's flashable. Let's get some more info before we make our decisions. Voldaren Thrillseeker. Oh, okay. So they're going to put the 2 counters on the token. They're going to sack to take care of the Channeler. No, they're using Jaya's ability instead. I'm going to keep that creature around. Okay. Alright, so Jaya does one to the Channeler. The pumped up monk is going to get in at the invasion. Brings that down to 2. Oh, and they're going to sack the monk straight away to flip over the invasion. That Thrill Seeker is kind of nice. Alright, so what is this about? Flying Trample? I don't think so. Let's try to keep you light on threats. Ertai is going to counter that as it's being cast. Okay, and now we've got mana for Invoke Despair to kind of clean up the rest of this. So let's do that. Opponent's going to have to sack the Thrill Seeker and Jaya. Suppose they could have sacked the Thrill Seeker to do 1 damage to me, but they chose not to. We'll attack for Ertai, get them down to 15. Alright, opponent follows up with a nice big Shivan Devastator for 4, drops us to 12. Well, I think we just Invoke Despair some more. Really want to pick up land number 7 for this Breach. This will help us get there. It's a tapper. Alright. We'll attack for Ertai, get him down to 8. Alright, opponent follows up with a Fable, and then just passes it on back. Alright, so we're stuck with our tap land here. Let's go Aether Channeler. If we bounce the token, that just disappears entirely. We can get down Life of Toshiro. We're going to send Ertai to the gym here, give him a little +2/+2. Get in at the opponent, bring them down to 3, and play this tower. Finally getting up to Breach mana. Opponent discards with the Fable. Got a Hoarding Broodlord down there, and nothing else. Alright, good game. Atraxa in our opening hand. We're going to try this. We do have Tainted Indulgence to discard Atraxa before we get to our Reanimator stuff. Also have this Mage Ring Invasion of Vryn. Ooh, there's a spicy little guy. The Aeronaut coming down here, going to reduce our opponent's artifact costs. Alright, what do you got for us here? Reality Chip for 1. It's a good deal. Opponent attacks for 2 with the Aeronaut. Now let's use this opportunity to indulge in something tainted. Pick up 2 cards. Let's discard Atraxa. That's a pretty easy choice. Everything else is within the realm of possibility to be casted in the near future. Then we'll get down Toshiro. Not going to be able to eliminate anything, so we'll just gain some life. And this will kind of be an investment in the future into casting some of our bigger spells. Opponent with land number 4. Tezzeret. I see where this is going, and I like it. Going to use Tezzeret to draw 2, so they can discard an artifact or... Alright, they just attack for 2 there, showing their dominance with the Reality Chip. Let's go for Underground River as land number 4. We could Mage Ring, or we could Henrika. Kind of like Henrika, we can pressure Tezzeret with it. Let's just draw. Keep those lands coming. Alright, opponent's going to put Reality Chip onto the Aeronaut. Or Mechanaut. And then follow up with Patches. Good old Patches. Fond memories of that card. So Tezzeret's going to turn the Flying Goblin into a 4/4 base power and toughness creature. They're going to sack the chip and destroy Henrika with a Voltage Surge. Okay. Well, Life of Toshiro here. I think we're going to be able to eliminate this Patches. Oh, no, it flips over. I was thinking we had one more chapter. Nuts. Well, Invoke Despair. Help me out. Bridge the gap between us and 7 mana. All right, they let the Aeronaut go. Probably a wise choice. Okay, so they had a backup reality chip in hand is why they let the first one go. That makes sense. They're going to just put it on him? No, not yet. Okay. All right. Well, we've got lots of mana. We could Invoke Despair. Yeah, let's do that. Try and control the board a little bit. We don't have too much going on here. And, like, I don't really want to breach against this opponent too much. So if we breach, we know we can get Atraxa back. But our hand is full of great stuff already. And if we look at our opponent's stuff, it's going to be a lot of these little artifact creatures that play well together, but we can't pull out one like back-breaking creature with it. So anyway, that's my logic there. We'll see if that holds up. All right, opponent taps our Saga down, plays Tezzeret. Yeah, see, they've just got a bunch of little creatures that really synergize well, but don't make it worth a 7 mana spell for us, almost. Okay, land number 7. Good Sheoldred here, actually. I would like for them to continue sacrificing something, and Sheoldred does have Menace. We can start pressuring Tezzeret with that next turn. Keep up this impulse to go looking for more fun stuff to do. Alright, opponent's going to do the draw and discard with Tezzeret. Yep, I'm just seeing more and more small creatures here. Okay, so they're putting the reality chip back onto the Flying Goblin. Oh, Containment Construct. Okay. That's actually really nice with a lot of these cards. So the discard liability from Tezzeret becomes not so much of a punishment. All right, they're just going to pass, so we're going to Impulse. Life of Toshiro ×2 and an Invasion of Vryn. Let's try the Invasion here. I don't know. Toshiro's not going to do much on this board. Although looking at it now, it would have taken care of that construct. All right. Too many options for me, really. I think what we're going to do instead, let's flip over Sheoldred. All right. True Scriptures comes into play. I get to target more than... Oh, no, this is just... Why would it let me target more than one player? There's never been... There's no multiplayer on MTG Arena. All right, so we target Tezzeret. That threat is eliminated. We're just going to pass it on back here. So the next mode on True Scriptures is a little bit of mill, I believe, and then we get to bring everything back. Opponent's just flooding the board here. Getting some triggers on these Song Shapers. I'm going to use Voltage Surge with the Sacrifice to take care of Toshiro. And then Puzzle Maker. triggers the Song Shapers again. We're going to take a chunk of damage here. All right, 9 altogether means we're dropping to 6. Let's do a little Tainted Indulgence here. We discard this Darkslick Shores. And we pick up Kairi. All right, so opponents got to do a little discard, little mill. Construct is going to let them play Fading Hope, which they do have the mana for. All right, let's get down to land. What do we got down here again? Still just Atraxa and Henrika. And they've got a bunch of small stuff. Let's go Cruelty. Gonna do Reanimation. Yeah, I don't think they've got anything good. Let's go Atraxa. I've got tons of stuff to do, but we kind of need life, and we just need one more turn. Maybe we can pull something out of here to help out. So Celestus, Aether Channeler is the creature. Tower, Path of Peril. Ooh, can we cast that Path of Peril? Oh, yes. Time has been bought. And let's see, goes to end of turn. We'll discard this Invasion. All right. So if the Scripture survives, we're set to pick up a whole bunch of stuff from the graveyard next turn. And I think we can survive this turn with Atraxa. Oh. All right, they had the Disruptor. Disruptor was on deck. That was a timely Path of Peril. They're going to play Patchwork Automaton off the top. And get a little scry as they attack with the Puzzle Maker. All right, opponent gets in for 1, gets us down to 5. Got a Fading Hope for Atraxa, so that's kind of trapped in my hand now, but True Scriptures is happening. There's going to be a few triggers, I think. Reality Chip, Flying Goblins, Network Disruptors. Tap down a couple of things. A lot of Song Shaper triggers. It's a shame they don't have haste. Oh, yeah, and Sheoldred flips back over, so they have to sacrifice something now. Not too bad. Opponent taking their time with this decision. We obviously have no follow-up play. Just kidding. All right, they sacrificed the Disruptor. Yeah, I was trying to think. There's no way we can like hastily get in this turn. I'm not sure what it makes sense to do, other than perhaps play Kairi here and be able to do it all again. Play the Celestus, power up our stolen patches, and just maybe keep up the ability to gain some life. We'll make him sacrifice again with Henrika here on the combat trigger. We'll sacrifice one of these Disruptors to go with it. Opponent sacks the Puzzle Maker, so back down to just patches and the Reality Chip. So they can still play off the top, but they're going to need some kind of board wipe to get through all this. Let's get this Invasion down just for fun. We see an Obliterator, so we're going to discard a land. Oh, but we have the Construct now. Well, if we had mana left, that would mean something, but we're just going to decline these triggers. All right, did they find the Brotherhood's End? No, they're looking for something. Mountain. Patches, okay. And a Enthusiastic Mechanaut. All right, opponent passes it back. Is there any way we can get an artifact trigger here? Ah, well, I don't think it matters. Let's... Oh, anything cool we can do? Probably just Aether Channeler, bounce a blocker. Ensure we have enough, but pretty sure we do. Yep, let's Aether Channeler. We are going to bounce. Bounce the flyer. Between Kairi and the Mechanauts, everybody else should have more than enough. Is it worth flipping Sheoldred again? I think it is. I think you got to send a message. Yeah, we'll trigger and shoot that one down. Okay, submit Ward 2. We will pay that. Oh, and I forgot about the Henrika trigger. We'll just transform that, get some life, and send everybody over at the opponent. Should be enough. Math is for blockers, as we all know. All right, and it's all said and done. Down to -8. Good game. All right. Well, we've got our friend Sheoldred here. I think we're going to try to keep this. We've got a turn 2 play and go for the throat. Okay, opponent looks to be on mono red then. Great, there's land number 3. Kumano will tick up. Let's see if they have a creature to play this turn. All right, they've got a Phoenix Chick. Attacks us down to 17 with the Chick. We'll play land number 2 and see what the best thing we can go for the throat is this turn. They're going to play with fire our face as Kumano flips over. Scries something to the bottom and going to get in for 4. Let's get rid of Kumano. We are kind of a Reanimator deck, so don't really want that sticking around. All right, we pick up a Breach. Let's see here. Let's get Aether Channeler going. Opponent must have some kind of instant effect. All right, so let's slow him down. We're going to bounce the Phoenix Chick back to their hand. Gets rid of the counter at least. And they fire off a lightning strike at the Channeler. So that Channeler effectively made them discard a lightning strike, so not too bad. We're down to 12 now from that Phoenix Chick attack. Let's get this Raffine's Tower and our Celestus down. They've only got 2 cards left. We've kind of slowed them down enough where I think we can handle this rate of damage. Celestus is going to give us some life back from that attack. Okay. Yeah, let's discard Breach. We're a little far away from it for now. Ooh, there's an Obliterator. Let's do Sheoldred, though. They didn't play any other creatures besides this Chick, so if we can take care of the Chick, they're going to have to burn down Sheoldred if they want to get any more damage through with a non-flyer. Nope, squeeze here. And Squee is attacking. That means they've got enough burn here for Sheoldred, then? Why would you just send him in? Unless they're going to reuse him. No, okay, oh. Strangle. You don't see that too often in the mono-red decks. But they had it. All right, that's going to trigger the Celestus. Get a little bit of a refund here. Yeah, let's discard Ertai. I think Obliterator, actually. Would you like to burn down the Obliterator? All right, opponent fishing around in the graveyard. Looks like they're going to reanimate Squee. All right, that's 4 cards exiled. Squee is back with haste. They're going to play with fire our face, bring us to 10. All right, opponent scries to the bottom. Let's see if they attack here. They do not. Ooh, and we get a backup copy of Obliterator. All right, let's attack with this first one then. No blocks, unsurprising. We'll follow up with a second copy. Pass it on back to the opponent. See if they want to attack this turn. Oh, almost did it. All right, we're going to Celestus. What do we discard? Toshiro is life, but I don't know. I think we're okay now. We got the Celestus kind of going over and over again. Let's attack with just one of these Obliterators. And then we could potentially use some of our removal next turn to get through for lethal if they don't have any more creatures. Invoke Despair, just clearing away a token. We got Cruelty of Gix off of that. Yep, and opponent cashes it in. Good game. This is a strange one. We're going to keep this hand. 2 lands with an Impulse and 2 copies of Life of Toshiro. Can't cast this Cruelty of Gix, but it can help us along towards Breach. Well, this lines up nicely. Cast Life of Toshiro will give the Evolving Adaptive -1/-1. Nice being on the play. Opponent follows up with a Bankbuster. Looks like they are red-green. We're going to just go Toshiro again. Gain a little bit of life since we've got no targets. Opponent follows up with a Kodama. Alright, so they're going to crew up Bankbuster and attack. And does that... Yes, it does count as modified, so they are going to pull a land out of the deck with that attack. That's nice. Alright, everybody's too big for Toshiro here, so we're going to gain some life and flip over the first copy. We're going to Impulse, see if we can find a land. Yeah, we'll just take basic Swamp. Put that into play and go for the Throat, the Kodama, since that's not going to be of any use against the Bankbuster. Force them to have another creature to activate that with. Ooh. Invasion of Zendikar. I like that one. Pulls out 2 lands from their deck. Flips over into a nice mana creature eventually. Oh, are we 1 black short of casting this Despair? That is too bad. Okay. 3rd Life of Toshiro. We're going to attack with one of these. If we draw a land next turn, we are ready to breach. Opponent follows up with a 2nd invasion. Draws with the Bankbuster. They're ramping towards something. We're going to gain some life. We pick up Go for the Throat. That's a great draw. Well, with no land, we're going to Invoke Despair and hope that we draw it. There it is. And yeah, let's keep up Go for the Throat. No reason to get number 4 copy of Life of Toshiro on the board. Evolving Adaptive for our opponent. And a Deeproot Wayfinder. Considered putting that card in a few decks. It looks interesting, but not sure if it's quite the power level that we're seeing right now in Standard. And an Armored Scrap Gorger. So they've got all the little guys. Nothing big yet to capitalize on as they're going to crew up this Bankbuster. Yep, attack one of these battles for 4. And that will allow them to cast the flip side. Awakened Skyclave comes down. Makes the adaptive a little bigger, and our opponent's going to pass. Well, let's go for the Throat on the Skyclave. All right, and we pick up Atraxa. Well, there is our land. What do they have down there? A Kodama, and that's it. We don't really have anything. Well, we could breach and see if they've got something big down there hiding in that library. All right, what do we got? Obliterator and Ertai for us, and... Ooh, Etali for the... Yep, opponent sees it too. Good game. All right, this isn't too bad. No turn 2 play, but Channeler can help us get back in it since we are on the draw. Might have to bounce something back to their hand if we can. Grafted Butcher coming down. Likely going to see some more Phyrexians from the opponent. As they get in for 2 and get us down to 18. They're going to play Fable and pass it on back. We draw Life of Toshiro. Can't eliminate anything, so we're going to Aether Channeler. Aether Channeler? Bounce that token back to their hand. Okay, opponent decides to discard nothing to the Fable and attack with the Butcher. Checking for abilities. We're going to block that. And they follow up with a Cemetery Gatekeeper. Pulls our Channeler out. Well, it's a small creature. Let's hit it with Toshiro. Start setting up our ramp for the eventual Breach to the Multiverse. That is the plan anyway. Oh, opponent's going to burn down the house for Devils and attack us for 3, bringing us to 15. Let's go for the throat their flipped Fable then. Devils, not a bad thing to copy. You can get some free damage in. We're going to use this chapter of Toshiro to get rid of one of the Devils, leaving them with 2 as they point the trigger at our face. We'll follow up with land number 5. Yep, I think Henrika's the way to go here. And we can draw. Alright, we draw land number 6. Could lay down Kairi, or I don't know. We'll see what the opponent does here. Alright, so they're going to sacrifice a Devil, do 1 to our face, to bring back the Grafted Butcher from the graveyard. No attacks for them, as our Life of Toshiro flips over. So we can either Kairi, or we could do one of our 4-drops plus Tainted Indulgence. Let's go to combat. Transform Henrika here. Just attack for 3. Bolster our life total a little bit, and we'll follow that up with Kairi. Opponent's down to 1 card. Odds of them having the removal for this and Henrika kind of low. Oh, okay. Good game. All right, let's keep this. It is a slow-looking 2-lander with some 5 and 7 drops in our hand, but we've got Impulse and Tainted Indulgence to hopefully bridge the gap. We're going to get Raffine's Tower down as our opponent lays a first-turn mountain. Follows that up with Crystal Grotto. Decides to keep on the top. Goes into Reckoner Bankbuster. Well, we're going to play land number 2. Keep up one of our instants here. See just what our opponent is doing. This Bankbuster in a mono red deck strikes me as something a little more control-oriented, so it could be some kind of build around Koth, maybe Big Chandra. Our Tainted Indulgence finds us a couple of lands. We're going to discard Sheoldred as a potential reanimation target if we pick up a Cruelty of Gix along the way here. And I think we are going to draw with this Aether Channeler. All the lands, just got to buy some time and make it up to Breach mana. Opponent looking at the Channeler. Oh, they're going to use a Light Up the Night on it. As they blitz out a Requisitioner for the treasure and draw. So we drop to 17. They pick up a treasure here and draw a card. Alright, we'll play land number 4. We'll play down the Celestus. Get even closer to Breach mana. Crystal Grotto for the opponent. Haven't seen any Planeswalkers yet, but they've got to be in there if you're running Light Up the Night. Opponent making 2 colorless. They're going to draw with Bankbuster. Okay, just passing it on over. Excuse me. Let's Impulse. We see Go for the Throat, Impulse, and Kairi. I think it's Kairi here. We know we're going right into 6 mana. Ooh, nice. We draw with the Celestus since the opponent didn't do anything. We pick up a second copy of Invoke Despair. Let's go Kairi here. I know we've already got Sheoldred down there, but if they have something for this Kairi, then that's one less removal spell they have for whatever we breach into play in the future. Opponent's got a dragon of their own. Atsushi comes down. They're going to draw with Bankbuster and get a pilot. We pick up Darkslick Shores. Interesting. Well, let's go to combat. We'll attack with Kairi. Okay, so they decided not to block with Atsushi. We're going to play this land and breach. And we find Jaxus, Atsushi. Hey, big Chandra's down there too. Chandra Hope's Beacon, that's a great pickup. And we can get Sheoldred, Obliterator, or Atraxa. I mean, Atraxa's pretty nice. Hard to say no to that. Although Obliterator versus a mostly red deck, pretty good too. We're going to pick up Invasion of Vryn, Invoke Despair, grab a land, take this Go for the Throat, grab a Life of Toshiro, and a Ertai as well. An embarrassment of riches over here. We could still activate Chandra if we want to. Sure, let's do that. So Chandra's not like Bombardment. She doesn't care if it's the first spell. It's just her ability only happens once a turn. So let's go for the Throat Atsushi and the Pilot with the copy. Alright, Atsushi down. They're going to choose what? Treasure tokens. Alright. Still a few treasures away from being able to burn us out, but they might be gunning for Atraxa here. Yep, we'll gain some life with the Celestus just in case. Discard this Life of Toshiro. We are well stocked here. 3 copies of Invoke Despair to back up our creatures on board and a Chandra that we've stolen. Opponent with another Atsushi over there. And they're going to play just a regular Riveteer's Requisitioner. Alright, well, I love copying Invoke Despair. Let's get rid of some blockers with that, and then fly over with these big flyers. Yes, same opponent. So they sacrifice Requisitioner to the first one. Sacrifice Atsushi to the second one. And that'll wrap it up. That's a lot of creatures. Good game.